Hi, my name is James Wedmore, and for the past 8 years, I've built a multiple 7-figure-a-year online business simply teaching my passion and expertise. From passive income and online courses to membership sites and even high-level events and masterminds, I've been paid by thousands and thousands of customers all over the world by following a simple formula that allows me to package and sell my knowledge and expertise. But the best part? Not only has this business been one of the most rewarding and fulfilling experiences of my life, but I've done it all without sacrificing my lifestyle. Heck, it's given me my lifestyle. I live in one of the best beach towns in the world. My office is just a half a block from the ocean, and I surf every day, sometimes twice a day. But life wasn't always like this. I used to be the martyr to my business. If I wasn't working 12 to 14-hour days, stressed out and frustrated, I wasn't enough. I had no life, and ironically, I still wasn't making enough money. Now, I believe there is a breaking point for all of us where we say enough is enough, and we either throw in the towel or find a better way. The last thing I would ever want for you or any of my students and customers is to throw in that towel. There is a better way. And for the first time ever, I'm going to show you how. This is Business by Design. First and foremost, I want to welcome you to this content-packed video series showing you how to create a business by design. Over the next few days, I'm going to lay out the exact framework that I use to structure my business, so you can finally create a clear strategy, finally have the right plan, a plan that you not only trust, but you actually use in order to hit that 6 or multiple 6-figure level. This is the simplest way that I know how to create the type of business that I did, one where you are the content creator, the teacher, the influencer, and you can monetize the whole darn thing. Now, before we go any further, I want to address exactly who this training is for and who it's not for. I created these videos specifically for coaches, authors, speakers, online influencers, and course creators, those who are looking to monetize their content and reach more people. And chances are you've made an attempt at this in the past, but the results were a bit underwhelming. Perhaps you got excited about the prospects of creating a course or a membership site, but at the moment you feel a little disappointed. You've done a whole lot of work and there's not much to show for it. So if you're looking for a simple plan to maximize your profitability, reach more people, and make a true and lasting impact with your audience, then you are in the right place. But let me tell you really quickly who this training is not for. It's not for the newbie. If you're just looking to start a business today, I'm not a right fit for you because my training might just be a little too advanced. You see, it takes a lot of energy to go from 0 to 5 miles per hour, from 0 to getting started. But I believe it can actually be easier and take less effort to go from 6 to 60 miles per hour, especially when you have the right strategy. And that's where I come in. If anything, these videos are designed to teach you how to graduate from newbie status, how to leave that uncertain, slightly confused, and always overwhelmed experience of starting a business so you can evolve into actually running or growing a business. One that you can finally go all in on, one that can finally help you reach that 6 or multiple 6-figure level. This is about creating something that you can be proud of, where you actually get excited, not nervous, when your friends, your family, or your brother-in-law inevitably asks the question, "Hey, so how's business?" So, in this very first video, we're going to investigate why so many content creators get stuck. Why, despite all the content available to them, they still can't seem to make this all work, and how you can begin today to take real steps in the right direction. Then I'll introduce you to the simple framework that I use to structure my entire business so you can finally see how all the pieces of building an online business really fit together. And by the end of this training, you'll have the whole picture. a map that shows you where you are and where you need to go. And the best part, when you see the whole picture, you'll realize just how simple it is. You can finally ignore the 90% of distractions that tend to keep us busy and overwhelmed, but don't get any results. Plus, it'll be my pleasure to introduce you to some of my inspiring students and the extraordinary results that they've been able to achieve in little time by following this system. Students like Lisa Keeker, who started her online business from scratch when we first met and generated over $400,000 in her first 9 months. Or Rick Mulready, who went from $0 to $110,000 in his first year, and today he's on track to hitting the $1 million in annual revenue mark. And then there's Sherry Hemstreet, who scrapped her old and outdated business model for one that worked for her. 6 weeks later, she generated over $100,000 in revenue, and for the first time ever, she was able to create more money by working less. These are real people with no special talent, just a passion and a desire to create a real business on their terms. Okay, so let's address what you're probably thinking right now. James, how is any of this different from the training and the promises that I've already heard? Well, I'm glad you asked. Yes, I can tell you all about the success that I've had in the past 8 years, how I've sold over $6 million in courses, membership sites, mastermind groups in markets that weren't even in the how to start an online business space. I can even tell you the extraordinary entrepreneurs that I've been fortunate enough to coach. People like Hillary Rushford, Kimra Luna, Rachel Luna, and Zach Spuckler. And this may help you trust that I know what I'm talking about here. But how do you really know if what I'm about to reveal in these videos will actually help you? Well, here's why. I believe everyone else is focusing on the wrong things. They only focus on actions. Take these steps, follow this training, here's what to do. But when you do that, you're missing half the equation. Here's the simple formula for success that I follow. Results are created from the actions we take. Actions come from the strategy we develop. And strategy originates from our mindset. Mindset, strategy, actions, results. You see, while everyone else focuses on the actions you need to take, I focus on mindset first. Then we get into actions. So why does any of this really matter? Well, if you can change your mindset first, if you can train your brain to look at opportunities, if you can start to see what others can't, well, then anything becomes possible. What you've got to realize about this whole mindset thing is you don't see it as a mindset. It's just the way it is. And once you've made up your mind about something, you'll hardly see evidence to the contrary. Your beliefs get supported wherever you go. And as Tony Robbins said, our beliefs are like unquestioned commands, telling us how things are, what's possible and impossible, and what we can and cannot do. As a result, changing our belief systems is central to making any real and lasting change in our lives. Okay, so mindset. Once you understand the right mindset, once you know the why behind the actions you need to take, you can create the right strategy that works for you. And from the right strategy, you can produce the right actions. And the right actions, well, they always lead to the right results. The only question becomes, what results do you want? So let's get into this. And we're going to start by defining what exactly is a business by design. Well, if you're like me, you started your business because you wanted one thing: freedom. Now for me, that was freedom from my old manager at the bar I worked at. It was freedom to do what I wanted with my day and get paid for it. So I thought running my business was the answer. Then, of course, irony sets in, right? Our business becomes the very thing that keeps us trapped. We continue to sacrifice and say no to more things that we value in our lives. First, it's the stuff that we probably should sacrifice, like TV or video games. But next, it's the weekend, time with our friends. And then finally, we begin to say no to our families. You ever hear the phrase, I work 16 hours a day so I can make money while I sleep? Really? Is that the dream? We do this until we run out of hours in the day? Then, of course, we come up for air. We see some motivational video on Facebook about how you're not working hard enough. You gotta hustle. All the while, you know what's really driving you isn't even passion anymore. It's fear. Fear that if you stop moving, even for just a second, it's all gonna collapse. And you'll have to fold up shop and go back to getting a job. This is what I call the hustle denial. We convince ourselves that everything's okay as long as I just keep moving. Now, business by design is anything but that. It's about creating a business that puts you first. A business by design focuses on three things: your strengths, what you're good at, your passions, what you love doing, and it supports your lifestyle, what's truly important to you. Now, for most people, this seems like something to aspire to, the access to which is hard work and hustle. I'm saying, why not choose this now? Like, right now. Well, when you do choose this now, the first thing you discover is that work no longer feels like work. You're in a constant state of flow. You're happier, more productive. You're actually having fun. And I think the people around you, your prospects and your customers, well, they can see that. Now, the best way for me to really demonstrate this is to share with you how I was able to make the switch from busy in business to business by design. And unlike most, I won't be sharing some sob story of when I hit rock bottom and had just 36 cents in my bank account. Even though I've had those moments, heck, I think most entrepreneurs have, this is a story that took place years later. In fact, I wasn't at rock bottom at all. At the time, I thought I was at the top of the world. It was the fall of 2013, and I had just had the biggest month of revenue ever. Just over $31,000. Pride, gratitude, accomplishment. I felt it all. I had made it. Then I did something that pulled the rug right out from under me. I attended a high-level mastermind. You ever hear the phrase, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room? Well, let's just say I was in the right room. So look, I'm human. I did what we all do, and I compared myself to others. It was inspiring to see what else was possible, what they had done. But as I compared myself to these entrepreneurs who had accomplished so much more, I literally felt sick to my stomach. I worked just as hard as them, probably harder. So what was I missing? What was wrong with me? That day, a thought was planted in my brain, a thought that would grow to consume me, until one day I realized I was playing small, way too small. Now, don't get me wrong, $30,000 is a lot of money. Heck, that's life-changing money. And it sure beats the early days of building my business in my parents' basement rent-free. But I was still that same guy. I thought small. I acted small. My results were small. Why? Because I was scared. I felt like I wasn't enough. I was the guy who didn't want to rock the boat, ruffle the feathers, or cause too much attention. Now again, I'm an introvert, a very shy guy by nature. Being in the spotlight, yeah, that's just not something I want to stomach. But I saw how much it was costing me. Trying to get everyone to like me, hoping I wouldn't upset anyone, afraid to even open up Facebook in fear I'd see a negative comment. I was literally walking on eggshells in my own business. Now, I grappled with this for some time. However, I was also willing to do something about it. So I did. But not until I came to one simple realization that has literally transformed the way I do business today. It shapes my actions, my decisions, and it's why I was able to triple revenue in 1 year and hit the 7-figure mark in my business back in 2014. Remember when I said it all starts with mindset? Well, my fear was based around what others thought of me. And I realized that's selfish. My concern was for myself, my well-being, and how I looked. Now that fear dissolved the moment I made my commitment to my students, to getting my content, my knowledge, my videos, yes, even this one, out to as many students as possible. That commitment became bigger than my fear. You change your mindset first, and your actions will follow. 2 months later, I created and launched a brand new product from scratch, 48-hour film school. and I made $256,000 in just 2 weeks. I didn't work any harder or longer than I had in the past. Yet I was able to generate over $200,000 more than I had ever earned in a single month. And that was the turning point for me. Today, I'm fortunate enough to live and work in Laguna Beach, California. My wife was finally able to quit her unfulfilling job so she could come work alongside me. Today, our favorite thing to do is what we call workcations. We travel, explore, brainstorm, and map out our future together. These are the results that I always wanted. I'd worked so hard trying to get there, never realizing the breakthrough was right under my nose the whole time. So, when you adopt the right mindset, you can be empowered to create your own strategy, a plan, and a path that works for you. That's how you create a business by design. Now, after surveying hundreds and hundreds of my own students, customers, and subscribers, I noticed that most of them felt really lost. They weren't just missing a strategy, they had no plan. They knew what they wanted, to monetize their community with an online course or launch a membership site or build their content empire so they could reach thousands all over the world. But no matter what they tried, they felt stuck. In fact, the most common statement I heard over and over again was, "James, I have all the pieces of the puzzle, video, social media, email, webinars, but I can't seem to put the pieces together." Does this sound like you? Every email or webinar touting the latest and greatest strategy literally rips you away from your focus and distracts you from what you really want. You see, focus is having faith in your plan, and a lack of focus is fear that your plan just won't work. I want to give you that plan, or better yet, I want to help you create your own plan. But if you're like most sitting there, the goals, the dreams, and the vision you've created for yourself and your business seem pretty far off. Am I right? When something is so big, it can feel distant and unachievable. Now, this leaves us feeling lost, confused, and overwhelmed. Where the heck do I even begin? So, we're going to break this up into phases. This way, each step becomes a bite-sized milestone that tells you that you're on the right track. Just keep going. These are the 7 phases of building your business by design. Phase number 1 is the research phase, or what I like to call the listening phase. This is where you gather the information and data necessary to identify who your audience is, what their problem is, and what do they really want. Asking questions, sending out surveys, reading comments and feedback. The research phase is an absolutely essential step, and it's the only way that you can proceed to phase number 2, crafting your offer. This is the time to assess and interpret the data that you get from phase 1 and use it to craft your offer, what you're selling. Now, don't make the mistake that most make. They create the offer first, and they think that doing the research means finding an audience willing to pay for this. Now, that's backwards. Now, while we're here, let me introduce you to the 4 types of offers that I use and recommend when it comes to monetizing your content. There's digital training like courses, ebooks, and boot camps. Membership sites where members pay you for a monthly fee. Then there's group coaching and, of course, masterminding. Now, once you've clarified your offer, it's time for phase 3, the pre-release. In this phase, you can actually sell your offer before it's finished. So many course creators are delaying their own success by not offering their product until it's complete and perfect. Now, that can take months. For some, years. A pre-release allows you to offer an early access program with beta users who get to test out the product as it's being developed. This way, you have actual committed students giving you feedback in real time. And this is exactly what Jasmine Starr did, who just weeks after she had the brilliant idea for a new course, generated a quick $5,626 to pre-sell her course before a single video was ever made. Armed with this, you're ready for phase number 4, the live launch. You're no stranger to a launch. This is the vehicle through which most content creators sell their programs and products because they work. And in video 3, I'm going to share with you the simple equation that I follow to generate multiple 6 figures with all my launches without big JVs or affiliates. So whether you decide to use webinars, video series like this one, or just plain old-fashioned email, you can execute a launch with purpose, intention, and confidence. Okay, after executing your live launch, you'll have one thing: results. And that takes us on to phase number 5, optimize and relaunch. Now, I see a lot of marketers who retire their products after just one launch. I'm definitely guilty of this myself, but we tend to think, well, I did it. Okay, what's next? What else can I do? We move on to the next project and we start over from scratch. Well, why not build on the momentum that you've already created? You see, after every launch, our team does a complete debrief, what worked and what didn't, so we can create a plan for performing even better on the next one. In my experience, some people will need to see your launch and your offer 2 to 3 times before they even buy. So why not launch the same product 2 to 3 times a year? In fact, one of my students, Kavita J. Patel, was able to take her one-on-one relationship coaching work and turn it into an online course called Soul Level Love. And in just 6 months, she launched this same program 3 separate times. And she generated over $30,000 each and every launch. Phase number 6, elevate. Now in the elevate phase, you begin to look for ways to expand and scale, not just improve your launch. Now this could be done through JV launches, adding additional offerings such as a VIP level, or white labeling or licensing your content, adding a software component, live events, or even creating new verticals. And finally, phase number 7, automate. Now I know how eager my students are to put all their marketing on autopilot, but few are successful at actually doing this. My theory, a great evergreen or automated campaign must be tested, optimized, and perfected before ever turned over to automation. And the best way to do this? Well, follow phase 1 through 6. And what then? Well, you start over, right back at phase 1 with your next project or idea. Now keep in mind, this isn't a journey where you only reap rewards at the end. This is your opportunity to thrive in every phase, so you can have your business by design. In fact, for most projects, I can move through phases 1, 2, and 3 in a matter of just a few short weeks. This means I can get paid for my idea fast, and that revenue fuels the creation of that idea, so it becomes a reality, a product that can help even more people. So before we wrap up this video, I want to recap the phases and quickly introduce you to the framework for business by design, what I call the BBD pyramid. Now the phases are research, offer, pre-release, launch live, optimize, elevate, and automate. Now that you have clarity on the 7 phases of your journey, this pyramid is the structure that will give you the focus, the strategy, and the action steps necessary to create your business. This becomes the filter for which you identify what to focus on and what to ignore. The BBD pyramid is made up of the following: the principles, strategy, tactics, technique, and results. This framework works, and it gives you the focus and the clarity you need to proceed with confidence. Here are some of my students who are doing this right now. Laura Husson, who went from burnt out with client work to mapping out her first product launch after going through the very first module of my program. In just a few short days, she generated over $21,252. Then, 1 month later, she did another launch, generating a total of $90,000. And Britt Seva, who made more money in just her pre-launch phase alone, $22,000, than she did selling her program the year before. Real people getting real results. So we've already covered a ton in this first video, but we're only just getting started. So what do you do with this information? How can we take this and put it into a real plan with clear action steps that we can move forward with immediately? Well, stay tuned, because in video number 2, I'll break down the BBD pyramid so we can put it all to use. I'll introduce you to the 10 principles of marketing that most people have completely ignored. Plus, I'll show you how I'm using them in my business to get results. Then, from these principles, we'll create a plan that works for you, a plan that allows you to create a business by design. So here's what to do right now. To help keep the conversation alive, so I can support you beyond these videos, I've put together a free private Facebook group, and I invite you to join it right now. Once you join, pop in there, introduce yourself, and share with the group, which phase are you in right now? And what's one action item that you can take to get closer to the next phase? There is something extremely powerful that happens when you write down your goals and action items and share them with the world. So go do this right now. Plus, I've put together a powerful PDF workbook that will help guide you through this training so you can get the most out of it. That PDF is completely free and it's waiting for you inside the Facebook group. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait for video number 2. And until then, I'll see you in the group. Take care.